cannabis, a growing industry here in New Jersey. You've probably noticed a dispensary pop up somewhere in your area. So here to talk with us now is Jill Cohen about her female-owned dispensary, Cannaboss Lady. Jill, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We're so happy to have you.
I love the name. How long have you been in the industry and how did Cannaboss come to be?
um, so I officially have been in the industry as far as having doors open, starting with the CBD shop and then now the dispensary. The CBD shop started in February of 2021 and the dispensary officially opened August 31st. But my love affair with cannabis started when I was 15. And so I feel like I've been a part of the cannabis industry for that long because I'm now 52 years old. And I do believe that it saved my life, made me a better person, made me happy, and never thought it would legalize and never thought that I would be in this business. But when it started to legalize, I made it my mission to get involved because I truly believe in cannabis healing.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
So speaking to that in the healing, what should people look for when they're trying to find the best products for themselves? What have you found to be some of the benefits of cannabis?
Yes. So, cannabis, the plant in itself, whether it's the hemp plant or the marijuana plant, the hemp plant's this non-psychoactive plant that does not get you high, but offers all the same benefits as the marijuana plant that has the THC in it that does get you high. And as a whole, cannabis lowers inflammation. And we all know that inflammation causes everything: skin conditions, cancer, autoimmune, you name it, lots of different things. And so it's a natural plant-based form of lowering inflammation that's not going to affect your liver and your kidneys like over-the-counter drugs and pharmaceutical drugs. It's going to help with anxiety and skin conditions and menopause issues and pain, and so on and so forth. And it's all about talking to the customer and finding out, first of all, why are they interested in exploring this alternative, and do they consume now? How often? And what ailment are they trying to treat? Even if it's, I just want to be happy and have some fun, that's good too. And then it's getting them to talk in order for us to then guide them to the right strain, the right product, because there's so many different methods. And so, I could give you an example of someone, coming into the shop if you'd like. Do you want me?
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So we often have, I would say a majority of my demographic are women over 40, and they're soccer moms and career moms, and they need to be functional and productive because they have to take care of kids and their husband and their careers, and they still need to be functional. And so, but at the end of the day, they want to take the edge off, but they still need to be able to cook dinner and do homework with the kids and things like that. And so, they say to me, what can I take that'll give me a little buzz, calm me down, but I can still take care of my family and the things that I need to do and be functional. And they're like, I really just want to feel like I had a couple of glasses of wine without the hangover and the calories.
I love that. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So our number one thing to recommend for that is, depending on the method that they're open to. And even though a lot of people don't want to smoke, I kind of recommend that as the first method. And I love our little pre-rolls, which we call dog walkers. And why they're called dog walkers is because they're the perfect size that when you go out to walk the dog to be discreet and it's not smoke in the house, by the time you get back from walking the dog, you've smoked the joint.
That's interesting. Yeah, there are so many different, ailments that people also take it for too. But in terms of business, right? What challenges do you face being a female-owned dispensary? How did you overcome them? And how did you make a name for yourself in this industry?
Oh, it's being tenacious, persevering, just being really tough. And especially not only being a woman, but I'm a petite woman. I'm only 5 feet tall. And so when I was talking to contractors, they didn't take me seriously at all. And I really had to act like I was 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
And so there are a lot, I mean, there's a lot of challenges just in general with it being a new industry. And we're making it up as we go along. And unfortunately, a lot of these industries start out as a man's business. And so of course, once again, us women are trying to fight to the top to, you know, at least be 50% a part of it, or own the whole industry ourselves. And really, we should own the industry, because in the beginning of time, women were the gatherers. Women knew the plants and the herbs, and it's like in our DNA. It's our wheelhouse, you know. And women are usually the ones farming and growing and all that. So, you know, I want a lot more women cultivators to come to the forefront, but it's been a challenge. And what we call predatory contracts. So not only do they take advantage of us as a woman because they don't think we're smart enough or strong enough to negotiate and push back on them, but you know, it's just hard to, you know, so they take advantage of us and they give us predatory contracts. And thank God I have an amazing lawyer, because he'll find stuff in there that's like, oh, here's another paragraph where they're taking advantage of you, you know? And, you know, so you really got to cross your T's and dot your I's and really, really pay attention. Surround yourself with a really good advisory board in all categories: accountant, lawyer, compliance, all of that have your back. And just, you know, really stay on top of it, and don't be afraid to push back and stand your ground.
And Jill, I have to say, I had the opportunity, we were seeing some of the photos from your ribbon cutting and from the dispensary, and I had the opportunity to be there. And I love, and I think it makes such a difference, very clearly your shop has that female touch to it. I think it's much more relaxing, it's much more warm and friendly. It feels like walking into your girlfriend's living room.
Yes, that's exactly what I wanted to create, because you know, the mission was always first focusing on women and women's health, and creating an environment that they felt comfortable in, because, you know, there's still a stigma. And, you know, the stigma has always been, oh, stoners, they're a bunch of surfers and skateboarders and their head shops. And, you know, my clientele doesn't necessarily want to walk into a shop like that. And then they also want to walk in and talk to a woman that they see themselves in.
Yeah.
And so I made it my mission to focus on women, because where the women are, the men will come. So I was not worried about getting those clients. And the first thing I did was I only allowed, in my CBD shop, which opened first in February of 2021, I only allowed women-owned brands in my shop. And I was very, very strict about it. And the reason why, and not women, and diverse women. So I have an Asian brand, I have a Black woman brand, I have Native American brand. So I've gone through the gamut. I do have one gay boy brand, because he said he's one of the girls, and I agreed with him.
But diversity matters.
It does, yeah, and it does.
Yeah, and you know what? He makes the best CBD beverages, so I couldn't say no. And so. So I did that first, and then you know, just really made the aesthetic, you know, very women friendly. A big green velvet couch that they could sit down and relax, and it almost felt like a spa. And it was warm and friendly. It smelled good when you came in. The temperature was always perfect. It was nice, calming music. And I took that same aesthetic and elevated it and made it a little bit more luxury next door in the dispensary side. And I wanted to make it kind of like a speakeasy, because a lot of these women also want to be discreet, and they don't necessarily want to be seen walking into a dispensary. And so I wanted to make it, you know, a little mysterious. But then also that environment just being an elevated version of the CBD shop, and also being pink and green and gold and white and green velvet, and creating, like you said, an environment where you felt like you were coming into your girlfriend's living room to hang out in her house. And so far, the feedback I'm getting is that's exactly how they feel. And I call it sexy, chic, and dope.
Hey, Jill, where can we find you, your shop, and more information about you?
Yes, so Elevated by the Cannaboss Lady is at 9 Highland Place in Maplewood Village, which is where the train station is, and Maplewood is in Essex County, and there is a train directly from New York, from Penn Station, that goes right into Maplewood. So again, 9 Highland Place, Maplewood, New Jersey. We also accept orders online, so you can pre-order and come in and pick up. But we also have amazing experienced bud tenders to help you along with your journey. And I also do free consultations all the time, all day long, 24/7. I do house calls, I do phone calls, because I really, really believe in the plant, and I want everyone to feel like they have someone to handhold them through the process.
That's
I love that.
fantastic.
Jill Cohen, thank you so much for joining us this morning, the Cannaboss Lady. Thanks again.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Have a great day.
too. It's interesting. It's such an interesting market.
You know, and it's so it's not something that I participate in, but I find it fascinating. Somebody who's really interested in how food and herbs and plants impact your, you know, all kind of go together. Yeah. And just to see the things that they have where they're like, okay, so if you're a cancer patient and your drugs are making you lose your appetite,
or making
this
you
one
nauseous.
will gain your appetite so you don't lose weight.
Right.
If you're on steroids and you're gaining too much weight, this one will suppress your appetite so that you're not, I mean, it's just, that to me is really fascinating, because she's right. You know, those things that you do buy, even just over the counter, they impact your gut, they impact your liver. You know, we assume that they're harmless because we get them at CVS, but there's, you know, there's always something.
And even MDs are now suggesting, hey, have you tried it yet? Have you tried that before I write you this prescription?
This script, yeah.
Why don't you try X, Y, and Z? I have relatives who are of a certain age where things are breaking down.
Right.
And there's surgeries and things like that. Before I write you a script for X, Y, and Z painkiller,
Right.
try this first.
Just, and
then
see what
come
happens.
back and see if it helps.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it's so interesting that even the medical world is now turning to that
It's kind of,
first.
you don't
because
have to
of the
ingest it. I mean, there's
issues.
creams,
Right.
you know what I mean? It can just be topical. So I think, you know, it's
There's
worth
such a
exploring.
wide
If you're like
variety.
curious about it, it's worth exploring, because it's not there.
Absolutely.
It is massive industry at this
Right.
point. Yeah.
So